I'm doing great, man.
Hey, can't complain. We're here, not on a Monday. It's not
Not on the
Monday,
button. Yeah.
but better late than never, right? We're here, Wednesday evening, lot to talk about. Guys, even in the green room, we were just kind of discussing Alabama, another top recruiting class. If you look at 24/7 Sports, the composite, they come in at number 4. But I mean, you take this class with any of the top classes, right? If I'm going over those top classes right now, you have Texas at number 1 with an average recruit rank of 93.36, Georgia at number 2 with a 92.33, Ohio State at number 3 with a 92.25, and then Bama with a 92.99. Oregon rounding out the top 5 with a 93.85. I mean, any of those top 5 classes, really spectacular work by each and every one of those staffs. And I think it's no surprise why those are the staffs that are recruiting well. When you look at who's doing that, when you look at the recruiters on staff, when you look at the current status of those programs, we're going to get into that. Coach Al, you had a really interesting point about the transfer portal. We're going to dive into that as well. And then at the
Okay.
end of the show, guys, I figured we would give kind of a championship prediction. But before we can do any of that, guys, how we doing?
Doing great, Coach. Doing great, Ty. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
doing really well, man.
As always.
Yeah, doing well,
Hey,
well, my brother. How about yourself, man? I
Yeah.
know you were down a little bit. I was down a little bit, but hey, man, everything doing well on my side. Good to see y'all gentlemen here.
Yes,
yeah, I
sir.
was sick
And
as can be last week. That's why we didn't have a show.
yeah, we were worried about you, man.
How y'all doing
But
out
we're
there in
here.
the chat, man? Latanya,
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah. Welcome everybody. Yeah.
Travel Panure, we got Tough as
Yeah.
Nails,
Tough as
Jeremy,
nails. Jeremy is in the house.
Patriot Life.
Patriots in there, man.
Patriot Life.
What's up, Patriot? What's
Hey,
up,
we
man?
got the crew. And what a better way to kick off this stream than by talking about this class. Guys, I want to
Yeah.
start, Coach Carl, I'll start with you. Of this Bama class, there's no shortage of players to be excited about. But who would you say you are the most excited about? And we got Ebony in here. Ebony, and
Ebony.
listen, I'm going to say this one
Congrats.
time, and then I don't want anybody to clip this. I don't want any evidence of this. So I might delete this stream after we're done. Congratulations to your Buckeyes.
Hey, man, me personally, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Out of all the recruits we got, right? We got Keelan Russell,
I'm
Michael
Janet.
Carroll, Dylan Lee. We got Ivan Taylor, Derek Mellows. Kind of excited about Derek Mellows, that 6'5", 200-pound kid. We got Justin Hill, a quick hitter off the end, a bender. A.K. Deer, Jackson Lord. I mean, we got a ton of talent in this class, man. But after the year we had with quarterback play, I'm gonna have to go with Keelan Russell, man. Like, I think with the quarterback play, man, the up and down play calling that we had for Jalen Miro's skill set. We're going on, boy Dwight, man. I appreciate that hookup, bro. Dwight the true man. Y'all need to get with Dwight, man. You need some work done. Dwight's the true. I promise you that. But yeah, man, with the up and down play calling we had this year, man, that the play calling didn't fit Jalen Miro's skill set, and Nick Sheridan. I think Nick Sheridan just practiced on his play calling because he I know Austin Mack and Keelan Russell are the ones that probably gonna fit his play calling best. And if he's gonna be our offensive coordinator going forward, I'm more excited to see Keelan Russell inside the recruiting class, man. He get a chance to come in the spring and we get to see what he can do on the Nick Sheridan. So I think with him and Derek Mellows coming in, those two together, coming in as a talent, that could be a big, big hit for the Alabama, man. So I'm really, really, really excited about those two kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
impossible to argue, right? Impossible.
Yeah.
Coach Al, before I throw it to you, just to kind
Yeah.
of give some clarification, I'm sure everybody knows, Key Russ ended up as the number 2 player in the nation for the 24/7
Number
Sports
two.
Composite.
Number
Number
two.
2.
Number two. That's saying a lot.
At Duncanville. That's a bad boy. Who are you
That's
most excited
Behind
for, Coach Al?
behind Bryce Underwood. So what's going on with KT?
Great quarterback class.
My sister.
Great quarterback class. Kyron,
great.
I like KJ Lacey down there at
KJ
Bama.
Lacey.
He's a
Juju
beast.
Smith.
Tavian St. Clair. This is a great quarterback class, but
Man.
I think Bama's got as good a quarterback as anybody in the nation.
Oh man,
I'm that excited.
I think we
From-
got as good
Yeah,
a class as anybody. I mean, I kind of like the sleeper guys. I'm a Steve Mbamua guy myself, because he's very twitchy. These guys that are international guys, they play soccer early on in life, and they have great feet and great coordination. And here's a guy who's already physically a specimen. If he can be coached up and get just he can give us some snaps this year just by his twitch in the middle. And he got some seniors that are there now that's going to show him how to work. I think he's the kind of guy. I also like Cavante Henry, that JUCO guy coming off the edge, only because of the fact that if you look at all the teams that did well in the playoff championship, they were really good in the box. They were really physical at the point of contact, both sides of the ball. And you see at playoff and championship caliber football, you're going to have to play at a high level up front. That's what we've been lacking for the last several years. So I like what we're putting up front. I like the Collins guy we brought in. I'm glad that 22 is staying over for another year. We see Latham staying over, guys, senior experienced guys. Not to mention we bringing our two backers back, and then we bringing in the guy from Colorado. We thought we was going to be pretty bare in coverage with experience at the linebacker position, but we got guys that have played a ton of snaps at the linebacker position. I just hope that our D-line coach can get the best out of these guys. I hope he can step his game up and start producing some high-level guys that can go to the next level. We haven't seen that kind of production from him. And obviously, we've seen our defense suffer as a result, not just under Womack, but under the GOAT. We couldn't get off the field because we couldn't pressure. We couldn't stop the run. It wasn't Bama defense. And Bama defense over the years has been defensive line. We're going to mash you. We're going to beat you up. We're going to make you want to quit. Whatever happened to that? So out of this class, yeah, the guys off the edge, the skill guys, but I like Michael Carroll, I like Devontae Henry, I like Stephen Mbamua, and my dudes. I really want to see them make an impact in this upcoming year to give us some success, because our defense is going to have to carry us, I think, with breaking in a new quarterback. I don't care what nobody say how good the guy is, how talented a first-year quarterback is going to have his struggles. If you can't get off the field, if you can't turn the ball over, if you can't stop the run, if you can't run the football, a first-year quarterback in the SEC is going to struggle.
Yeah, and Bama's defense was good this year. Very good this year, right?
Very
I had
good.
my qualms with some of the situational things that happened. We
Yeah.
don't need to unpack all of that. You know which two games I'm talking about, Oklahoma and Vanderbilt.
Right.
I think that the biggest qualm I had, Michigan as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not really as mad about the defense on Michigan.
Yeah.
Simply because the offense, right? Like, they got nothing going. My biggest qualm was OU. You had a team that couldn't throw the ball, and you were in a very pass-happy defense. And OU ran for, 150 yards at half?
Right.
And it's like, gee whiz, I don't know the stats of this, right? Like all time, how likely you are to win a game if you've given up 150 rushing yards at halftime. Remember, back in like 2016-17, there were only 8 or 9 running backs that had run for 100 yards on a save in defense. Now, let me be very clear. I am not holding anybody on this staff to a Saban standard. I'm only painting the picture of like you didn't have a whole lot of guys go for 100 in a game, and then you had OU 150 at half. Now they adjusted well. That is one thing I will give Womack, is typically if you saw something like Vandy, he got hit over the head the next week, defense was phenomenal. OU first half got hit on the head, halftime they adjusted well. I will give Womack that. Right? Like any issue you saw, it was addressed either during the game or the next game. That wasn't an issue anymore. So At the end of the year, even though I did have my complaints, right, so with some of the situational stuff, very impressed with Womack. Very pleased with Womack.
You
Very
know what, Ty?
excited about Womack.
You're right. The secondary, we did see a lot of growth out of them. We thought that was going to be the Achilles heel, but toward the end of the year, they were locking folks down, man. You got to give them credit. Trust me, I'm not throwing shade at anybody like that. I'm a Bama guy, 100%, 105%. And you got to give these guys the first year. They got to get in and get their players in, get their schemes in, and it takes them. And we're in the SEC. Let's face it. Let's just say,
I said that 9-3 was realistic for Bama this year.
That's right.
Before the coach even played a game, I was like 9-3. That wouldn't shock me. Because listen, I think that one, Bama's team is very talented, but it's so new. There were so many new things, and I don't think people really understand how much work goes into a complete scheme change. But this is where it gets me into the guy I'm most excited for. Shout out KT.
KT.
For me,
on sharpshooters. On sharps. Yeah. KT kicked me up last night. Sorry, Ty. Oh, that was too funny last night.
KT was rolling last night, Ty.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
sorry, Ty. Sorry, man. Sorry.
I'm going to put my Inspector Gadget hat on and figure it out.
Yeah.
What were they rated before the season?
Who's that?
Frightening Truth asked, hey, let me ask you a question. So I wonder if you guys think Texas was over, under, or properly rated prior to the season. What were they rated before the season? Because they were in the playoffs.
They were properly rated.
I think they were around 3, I think. Something like that, weren't they? Preseason?
I have no problem with that. They were
a
in
lot
the
of people
playoffs.
Were picking Texas, Georgia to be in the SEC championship.
In the SEC championship, so that was correct. So
I think they were properly rated because I picked Texas versus Georgia for the SEC championship with Georgia winning it.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the season ever started. That was my prediction.
Yeah, because you actually said that Texas was going to beat Georgia in Austin, and Georgia beat Texas in Atlanta.
Yes. If you remember, Coach Carl, you're 100% right. I thought that they would swap. Because my thought process was it's going to be very difficult for either of these teams to go up against each other twice and to sweep.
Right.
And they did. But I didn't think that they were overrated, Truth. I don't think they were underrated. That is who I thought they were.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's who I thought they were.
I think they were rated perfectly, man, because everybody figured Texas would be in the playoff. Everybody figured Texas would come in the 3rd or 4th spot in the playoff. So everything hits right on. Texas was number 3 in the playoff. They made it to they got past their first round test. They ran to Ohio State. They should have beat Ohio State, but they did not. So they end up right where they're supposed to be. They're 3rd best team in the country still after losing to Ohio State. So they wasn't overrated. They was right there marked where they're supposed to be. I think that the most overrated team in the country this year was us at Alabama. We was the most overrated one.
Yeah, I guess in terms of
I can agree with that.
Yeah, in terms of hype, I think they were about right. I think they lived up to the hype. They did. They were there. They did everything they were supposed to do. Okay, so I don't know how does that not live up to the hype if you beat everybody you're supposed to.
Coach
Carl, they did everything they were supposed to, except running down football 4 times on the goal line with Eli Manning.
Yeah, that's kind of a head scratcher. Now I do understand that it is what it is, right? But here's one thing, Coach Carl, I agree with you. I think Bama was overrated simply because I thought it was one of those situations where it's I think Bama, and at the end of the year, right? Bama was one of those teams when Bama was playing their best this year. I'm not saying they could beat anybody in the country. I'm saying they could go toe-to-toe with anybody in the country, right? It'd be a game. It'd be a phenomenal game when Bama was playing their best. Bama wasn't at their best all year. Bama was very inconsistent this year. And in fairness, we saw this last year. So I think Bama was a little overrated. I think for me, there's a reason why I wasn't disappointed with the season, because that's about what I thought Bama would be. Now, they were better than I thought they would be when they were playing their best. But the up and down, that is what it is. And Big Bama, Curtis saying, hey, they had an easy schedule. They did not have a difficult schedule, but let's be honest. They were consistent, right? Like the Texas OU game, big rivalry. They won it. They beat Vandy.
Yeah,
Now,
easy.
that was a game. That was a
That was a
game because
game.
Vandy was a good team.
Right.
But what was Texas that Bama wasn't? Consistent. That's why I say when Bama was playing their best, they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the country. Anybody. They'd give Ohio State a game. They'd give Texas a game. Anybody. It would be a game. One that you would have to see. Texas was consistent. Dare I say the most consistent team in the SEC and in the country. And you know who that's a credit to? That's a credit to Sark, who already understood the SEC landscape. And Truth, you didn't laugh at us, but you'll remember, Truth, at the beginning of this year, there were fans that laughed when Coach Sean said, oh, it's not the Georgians. It's easy to wake up for Georgia. Not easy to beat them, but it's easy to wake up for the big games. It's difficult whenever you get off of Georgia and then you have a Mississippi State or a Kentucky who's looking to punch you in the mouth. That's what's difficult. Sark understood that SEC grind. And so Texas came in understanding what this was, and they were incredibly consistent. And there's a lot to be said about consistency. Texas, I think, was maybe the most consistent team in the nation this year, top to bottom, right?
Yeah,
From the first game to the last.
Yeah.
I love their defense, too.
Yeah, I took it right in my mouth. I was going to say that's one thing that was a constant, their defense. Even with everything they lost up front last year, the guys they lost up front, Murphy and those guys, they came right back, and that defensive line just held up all year long. Those linebackers were flying around corners and safety, secondary guys were locking guys up. They have a Thorpe Award winner at cornerback this year.
Oh, Jahdae Barron, my favorite player on the Texas defense. Phenomenal player to watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and even the guys, they're so-called transfers, the Lamborghini guys they brought in, didn't make that big of a splash for them. You know, they did it with organic, homegrown guys.
And dare I say,
and then that's the biggest part that hurts a lot of teams, man. Like Texas went out and spent a lot of money on transfers, and the transfer did not contribute to nothing that they did successfully. Nothing. All the players that made plays were the one that they had on their roster.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, hold on. Makuba was, and I had that preseason. Truth can tell you this. I had that as a top 5 transfer all season. Makuba.
Forgot about him.
My God. He
forgot about him.
Balled.
Yes.
He was great from Clemson, from Austin.
That's right.
But, yeah, I think, and Dwight, you have the comment here that I love. Because this is so true. I got some pushback from people, and they said, Ty, you would have Indiana and SMU over Bama. And I say, I'm not saying I think Indiana or SMU would beat Bama. When Bama's playing their best, I take Bama over either of them. But I also wasn't a fan of expanded playoffs. So how can I argue simultaneously that I'm not a fan of expanding the playoffs, but then the regular season can't matter? I don't care who you play. Because, and this is the thing. This is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll get back on topic on this. Had Bama lost to Georgia, then Tennessee, then LSU. Okay, you have 3 quality losses. You lost to Oklahoma when they had 5 wide receivers out. Their next wide receiver got hurt during the damn game. Y'all ever been to CVS?
Yeah.
Y'all know when you check out at CVS and then you get that receipt and you're sitting there asking yourself, how many trees did you just cut down to give me this receipt where all I got was some Starburst? That was Oklahoma's injury report. You can't lose to that team. You cannot lose to that team. Vandy was good. Vandy was a good team this year. But you can't lose to that team.
Right.
So That's why Dwight, that's why I was of the mindset, do I think Bama is better? Yes, but I cannot argue to put them in, because if I'm arguing that, I'm saying, hey, what you do during the regular season doesn't matter. Now, if Bama would have only had the loss to Vandy and Tennessee over an undefeated SMU, 100%, because Vandy proved to be decent this year. Plus,
That's
the
right.
scheme they're running is a terrible thing to cover. That's why Michael Curtis asked, how come we couldn't cover the shovel pass? Because a lot of times that pass is utilized in schemes that are already very difficult to cover. Your linebackers are accounting for 2 or 3 different things, and if one guy gets picked up on a block, oh boy, it's springing. Like that scheme is what it is. We had a guy on our stream, gentlemen, Connor Yeager, and he was telling us about the Mountain West, that the team that recruited the worst over a 10-year period in the Mountain West had the 3rd highest win percentage because they ran the same scheme Vandy was running. And his whole point was, this is a scheme that neutralizes, as well as any scheme in the nation, talent, to where you can be super talented. But if you mess up, if you're off one step, we're neutralizing that talent just off of this scheme because you don't see it every day.
Right.
There's a reason why I picked Notre Dame over the military academies, because they're used to seeing this scheme. They see it every year. It's not creeping up on them, right? Like, this was something that Bama experienced, and they just weren't used to it. So that's all I'll say there. Bama's going to rebound. They're going to be just fine. It is what it is. I'm not disappointed at all in Coach DeBoer's first year. But getting back to the topic at hand, which was, what recruit am I most excited for? Michael Carroll. I think each of you are correct. Stephen Bua, remember, he went to that community college and absolutely balled, was the number 3 player in the nation coming out of JUCO. That's how well he did there. Bulked up, got a bit more experience above the high school level. You love to see it. Guys, I think Michael Carroll could come in and win a guard position day dot. That's how high I am on Michael Carroll. I think that kid's going to be a freshman starter, just like Booker. And I didn't realize, like, it's one thing to look at their height and weight listed on the page. It's another thing when you saw the picture with him and Jackson Lloyd and all these guys at Coach Cap's house. And I'm looking at Michael Carroll, and I'm like, wait, you're that big.
Yeah.
And you move growing that well.
I'm pushing him out the right tackle.
Yeah, I don't mean big. I mean, his shoulders are wide. Like, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge.
No,
that's the guy I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot at right tackle.
Hey, Ty.
Really?
Yes, really.
I'm about to give you applause on that one, Ty. You don't mind?
Why is that, Coach?
That's a damn good pick.
I agree. I mean, the guy's so athletic. He's long. He's got everything you need. I mean, you brought in Dewberry and those guys. And you got Klaus. We got guys interior where we really struggled at right tackle. Yeah. And we got to transfer it out. You know, so, you know, and the thing about it is he has a frame to play that position. He has all the traits that you would look for in a tackle. He has the arms. He has the feet. The only thing about it is he strong enough for SEC, you know, lineman? Is he strong? Because you really have to be strong inside because you have to anchor to hold the pocket. You can't allow the pocket to cave. So you could probably hide a guy, if you will, if he can move his feet at right tackle because, you know, he's not protecting the blind side. He's front side. There's a lot he could probably do as a freshman at right tackle. You know, if he proves that he can play the position. But I think they're going to give him a look out there, frankly.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, all he played in high school and was interior. So he probably, I think, was number 1, number 2 interior lineman in the country.
Yeah, that's right. That's where everybody had him pegged. So, it's just my gut. Looking at his tape and looking at his size, coach, and what we actually need depth-wise. He strikes me as a player that's pretty versatile. You know,
me personally, man, if all he played was interior, I'd keep him at the guard. Put him, like I said, like Ty said, put him in Tyler Booker spot. Keep him in that guard on that left side. Then they'll give him more help as a natural left guard. It'll give him more help with Ty. Not Ty, but with Kalen Proctor.
Proctor, who needs help.
Proctor won't have to worry about double teaming. He can just man up on one guy. And you don't have to worry about double teaming this guy come in. So that'll keep Proctor from having to do it too much. And so you keep him in the middle. But that right tackle, you got to figure though.
But he got Jaden Roberts on that side too, with a lot of experience, and Vandermark with a lot of experience. I mean,
yeah, but that'll help our right tackle. And I think Vandermark may be better suited to go out at right tackle than he is a freshman right now.
He don't have the feet or the arm length. He does not.
I would try anything with several true freshmen at right tackle right now.
But they put Proctor as a true freshman. Bama has done it a lot. At left tackle, which is even more significant.
Look at the problem we have with Proctor still to this day.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I think my thing is though is it could just be a scheme thing right now with Proctor, and I think if he can lose a bit more weight, he'll be better. But you know who's got the footwork for right tackle? I do agree with you, Coach Carl. I'd never want to put a freshman on the offensive line unless I look at that freshman and I'm like, you're exceptional. I think Michael Carroll's exceptional. I think he would push 90% of colleges in the nation, 95. He'd be right. He is exceptional.
Right.
Jackson Lloyd has got great feet.
Right.
That's a guy.
He may have the best. Yeah, he may have the best feet in the class.
Yeah, he got to bulk up though. That's Lloyd's problem.
He does have to bulk up.
With Coach Al, with the way these guys playing defensive end right now, do you really think he need to bulk up?
Yeah, I do.
He may need to get a little stronger, but I don't think
he needs to put on no more weight. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he needs to be able to. Let's put it this way: if his functional strength is good at 285 and 290, yeah, fine. Okay, but still, he's gonna have to set. You know, he's still even with that transition of power to speed or speed to power rush these guys are doing now. He's gonna have to be able to just slide, step, and kick and set. Okay, but I love the potential with these guys. I think we're all talking that we like who we have.
Yes, great.
Freshmen are always a liability. True that. And I'm not saying that you put Michael out there as a true freshman and throw him out there like that. I'm just saying you got spring coming up and you be moving guys around anyway. You want to see what they bring to the table because you just never know where a guy fits.
Yeah, and then we also got that transfer out of Texas A&M too. So
the guy from Ball State, Dewberry's the interior guy. Yeah, he's a versatile guy too. He plays snap.
He's real versatile. So you can always try him out there at that right tackle.
Well, true that.
Here's a question.
The guy from Ball State. Remember him? The guy from Ball State. He's a project.
The guy from Ball State.
He's a project. Yeah.
That's okay or something like that.
Yeah, he's a project. But I think he has some good characteristics, some good traits, physical traits.
The African dude, that 6'6" African dude. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a project. But he do have some traits though.
What do you think? Because Coach Al, you're talking about moving guys around, right? Like just seeing what you have. In this scheme, what if you were to kick Roberts out to right tackle, Cam Dewberry in at right guard, Parker Brailsford center, Michael Carroll left guard, Caden Proctor left tackle? Feasible, or is that a pipe dream? Jake Roberts is athletic. He got out there in space whenever he was a backup offensive lineman. He looked like the most athletic guy minus Tyler Booker. Yeah. But even then, Booker still had a little bit of that weight on him before he cut it this season. Roberts was running cats down last year. Got hurt this year. But what about that? Is that feasible? What are you thinking?
In spring, I think you're gonna see that. I think Coach Cap with another year in the system, knowing what pin and pull techniques that we saw a lot at Washington, a lot of movement that we saw at Washington. I think Coach Cap came in a little bit late in the game last year. He came in January late, hit the ground running. So he's learning the offense too, just like the players. He was learning what worked right with that offense with the type of player you needed. So I think in the spring we're gonna see guys move around. We might see Jaden Roberts out. He has a frame for it. He has the feet for it. But we know tackle is all about technique, big time technique, because you get so many moves thrown at you, and sometimes you're out there by yourself. So a guy, that's it. You really can't get too far out over your toes a lot at tackle. You got to really keep that back straight. You can't be out leaning out front and then get snatched. And we saw a lot of that this year with our guys. So if he can do that, if he wants to do that, physically he has a frame to do it. I think he has the feet to do it. He's athletic enough to do it.
That's my thing, is he's athletic enough to do it.
Yeah.
But technique, you're right. Coach Carl, thoughts, and then we'll talk more guys in this class.
Man, my thing is this, man. I actually like everything that Coach Al said. I really do. I can't lie. But we did lose a lot, man. So,
yeah, we got some work to do.
I can see Coach Cap moving a lot of guys. Man.
Yeah. If it was me, Coach Carl,
the loss of Wickham Farms, I think that's going to.
Yeah. If it was me, Coach, that's what I would use spring for. Yeah, I would use spring for that as an incubator, just see what guys compete. Because injuries happen. Vandermark showed a lot this year. He was versatile. He played interior 3 positions. You're gonna need that in the SEC, especially look how long the season is now. If we want to go deep in the playoffs, we're seeing that attrition sets in, and you have to have depth up front. And quite frankly, Notre Dame, I think, started either Clemson or Notre Dame or one of those teams started a true freshman at left tackle. I forget which one. I forget which one.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, you get left tackle. Now, Jeremy, don't press my button, brother. Don't press my button, Jeremy.
My thing is, did Coach Al mean right now, like this year I was offensive line coach. Yeah. And a lot of time offensive linemen get beat, they get beat with speed. They don't usually get beat with power. You can outrun the offensive tackle, but you usually don't outpower offensive tackle because they're in the league right now. There's not many powerful speed rushers. They're mostly speed rushers or power rushers. They're not many combined like that. I mean, you got the guys over there in South Carolina. One's a power rusher, one's a speed rusher. So you have to pick your poison. You have to know who's who. Texas had a couple of speed rushers. The thing that beat Bama this year was the speed. It wasn't about overpowering them. They just outran them. You didn't have a problem with none of those guys. Like Caden Proctor didn't get overpowered. You never see Caden Proctor getting off the ground because somebody just bull rushed his ass and dumped him. But he got ran around. So every time we had problems, we got ran around. On the interior, when Booker couldn't handle the interior, it wasn't because somebody overpowered him and they just jumped the gap. They crossed his face too fast and he couldn't ever catch up to him. So I don't think we got a problem with power. I think our main issue is that we're gonna have to solidify the speed concepts because if somebody is faster than you, they're not moving fast enough. They're jumping out towards them. Like you cannot take a kick step to the right or kick step to the left with a speed rusher. Your job is to get back in the zone and wait on the rusher. So once you drop back in the zone and get on your back feet and you wait on them, once you engage with the speed, you knock the speed off balance. But our issue was our offensive line was kicking out, kick out.
They were turning. They were turning versus kicking straight back. Yeah.
You go straight back in your zone. If you go straight back in your zone, can't nobody do nothing to you. Even if they blitz you, if you drop back into your zone, they still gotta come to you because that's a big body to come through. So it wasn't. Yeah, our problem wasn't that they was more powerful. It's just that we were doing the wrong things most of the time. We were getting outran because you cannot step out there and try to cut off a speed rusher. Because soon you give up the ground, he can come back inside. You try to close him all inside, he gonna beat you around. That's the only bigger thing, man. Like with Texas, on that player that guy came back around and made the sack. If the offensive tackle don't step in, he's right there in prime position to make the block. But he took one step in, do a run around him. Well, it's all about schematics, man, and it's a mental thing. Yeah, it's a mental thing. Once you learn your keys, and then you just drop back in your zone, even on rush, on rush game. If you know the blocking scheme and then you get in on this guy and you double this guy, then you chip on up to the linebacker, you don't have to worry about those problems in the run game. But a lot of kids want to get in there and they want to do things different. So that's all it is, man. It's a mental thing. It's not really
Yeah. I went back
Well,
and
I
flaws.
got
watched.
bad news for SEC fans. Dylan Stewart and Colin Simmons, they're both freshmen. Them
Both
two
freshmen.
cats are about to terrorize the
That's right.
SEC for 2 more
Yeah,
years. So
that's right.
get
I
ready.
I went back and watched a ton of film with all the games, all the offensive snaps. Uh, I mean, I'm talking hours. Okay. uh, and one thing that I I know we're kind of off topic a little bit, but I noticed consistently what happened was a lot of teams figured us out. They would always pressure us a lot of times with five guys because they knew somebody's going to lose the one on one. Okay, we were always breaking down. We never could or they would have a lot. They would rush four guys, and they would do a lot of movement to confuse our guys up front, and wouldn't pass it off quite right. But typically, what happened is they would always pressure us with five guys, and we couldn't hold up more than say 2.2 seconds. What we call in routes combinations is taking 2.5. So now what happens is when the quarterback's at his back foot and he's trying to get these routes to develop, these guys that the backs are to him and the pressure's at his feet. I mean, I looked at consistently, we could not get past 2.3 seconds for protection consistently. Okay, and routes were constantly 2.5, 2.6. So that means that we weren't going to the quick game, we weren't getting the ball. We checked out. It was a schematic thing with the offense that was not recognizing the inadequacies of our O line to protect five guys. We will constantly lose our one on one. And the tape validates that. This is not emotion. I've watched hours of film, okay, wondering what was really going on. So if you trust your lineman to be technique sound and to communicate up front, to zone it off, or however you want to call it, you want to fan it, you want to do whatever you want to call, but be consistent with it. But make sure the play call gives you a check down. Make sure we got hots. Make sure the quarterback, everybody, communication, trust, and chemistry. I keep saying that. We didn't have it this year.
Well, guys, I think I completely agree. That's why I'm so high on like a Michael Carroll coming in. This is a
My
great
goodness.
class. I'm going to run through the class right now, and then we're going to transition to some transfer portal talk because for recruiting, you got Key Russ, you got Michael Carroll, Dejon Lee, Ivan Taylor, Derek Meadows, Justin Hill, Jackson Lloyd, Ackland Deer, Daryl Johnson, Marshall Pritchett, Micah DeBose, Luke Metz, Lotsier Brooks, who watch out, that might be the sleeper of the entire class
That's
for
gonna be
any
the
team.
that's gonna be the
That's a
sleeper.
dude.
Here's
That's
a
a dude.
dude.
Abdul Sanders Jr., Mal Waldrop, Stephen Buma, Kevontae Henry, Alex. I'm not going to do you the disservice of butchering your last name, my brother in Christ, but your first name is Alex and you're a hell of a kicker. So then you
Yeah.
got Chuck McDonald, you got Caleb Edwards, you got London Simmons. But then we get
Caleb.
into the transfers. You got Peter Knudsen, tight end transfer, giving you some depth. You got Draylon Washington, the running back from Louisiana. You've got the offensive tackle from Ball State. You have Nikai Hill Green coming in from Colorado, very productive player for the Buffs. Isaiah Horton, great addition. This wide receiving coach loves bigger wide receivers, 6'4", 205, very productive for the Canes. You got Cam Dewberry, interior offensive lineman, coming from A&M. You have
Right.
maybe my favorite addition via the transfer portal, Cameron Calhoun, coming from Utah. If it's
Right.
true that Bach is going to be taking primarily offensive snaps, what do? You go and get a Cameron Calhoun, another experienced cornerback, and then you got Kelby Collins. Guys, I think it's time we talk about this transfer portal haul because there's not a lot, but I like what they did. And Coach Al, you had an interesting thought in the green room that I want you to talk about because it's something that Jeremy and Larry are kind of going back and forth on right now, asking, why isn't Bama spending the money? Why aren't they pulling the trigger? I think they are,
Yeah.
but in a way that's not maybe how some other teams are doing it. But, Coach, you had a team that you likened it to. Now, in fairness, to play a little devil's advocate, you're not going to get a Caleb Downs in the transfer portal this year because Goat Saban's not retiring, right? So that changes it, right? That'd be the biggest name in the transfer portal the past 4 years, right?
Right.
But talk to me, Coach Al. Talk to the people about your thoughts on what Alabama's done in the transfer portal and who you kind of liken it to in terms of how they've distributed the money.
Yeah. I look at our general manager, Courtney, what he's trying to do with the changing landscape of college football. And it's clear that the Bama made a choice to use their funds wisely to keep the guys they had on board, a lot like Ohio State did. Ohio State kept Jack Sawyer and kept those guys in. They brought in just a key few transfers like Judkins and Downs, a few key guys, but they didn't go out and just flood the whole portal with guys. They kept the dudes they had to keep the chemistry, the trust, and the communication in place with high-level guys and build that nucleus around it. And if you see what happened on the defensive side of the football with the guys that we kept, it's clear that they see that it's more valuable to pay the guys that have produced in your program to build that trust that, hey, if you produce, we're going to pay you. And then strategically go out and cherry pick those guys where they can make a difference. Just like that receiver we're getting from Miami. He could make a difference with his frame. Okay, but good. We put Bach over the offense, and we got Ryan, and we got number 5. We're gonna be deadly at receiver. You know what I mean? We good. Okay, but
Plus
we kept
Jalen Hale getting healthy.
Jalen Hale, oh man, my dude. But the point we're talking about in Greenwood is that OSU, they played a strategy. Everybody talking about the $20 million. They didn't go $20 million and spend it on the portal. They spent that money inside the building. And Bama's doing the same thing this year. And that's going to build a trust in the locker room. Say, they're going to love on me. They're going to show me love if I produce. They don't go out and try to get somebody from the outside and bring them in the locker room and pay them $5 million like Miami did Carson Beck. You know, they're going to say, hey, look, 22, you producing at that Bandit, we're going to pay you.
One, Damani, you could 22.
Damani,
they could
yeah,
go pro.
Yeah,
okay,
we're going to pay you.
Let's get you a piece of the pie. Let's get you
That's
some
right.
money. You come back.
Right.
Now all of a sudden,
He's going to pay huge dividends this year. He's going to pay huge dividends in the locker room. And I'll still say it, trust, communication, and chemistry. That's still football. And with the landscape changing the way it is with Courtney Morgan, who I truly trust, as the brain trust behind getting us the right talent, we're going to see guys stick around because look at it this way. 3rd round money is what Carson Beck got to go to Miami. That's what he got. He got $4 million, $5 million, 3rd round money. Okay.
3rd round money was all he was going to get from the NFL too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So why go where you can go and do just like the guy that went from Washington State? He played 1 year in that scheme, and look what he's going to get drafted number 1 or 2 or 3. You know, because he got a chance to excel and showcase his skill set. Because Georgia wasn't getting his receivers were dropping. They couldn't catch a cold butt naked in Alaska. Georgia was saying. So Carson Beck is going to go down to Miami, you know, in South Beach, and he's going to be spinning that thing. Okay, but that's my take. I think Ohio State showed us a model, but I think Courtney was already on top of it. We're going to keep the guys we got. Defense is going to be lit next year because we got seniors, we got talent, we got depth, and we're going to be able to play at a high level next year on the defense side.
I think that's such a good point. And
yeah.
I hope everybody really listened to that.
Yeah.
Because you could have gone and spent more money in the portal.
Right.
But if I can convince LT Overton to come back and say, hey, man, if you convert half of those pressures into sacks, you're a top 20 pick.
Exactly.
You're a top 20 pick.
Exactly.
If I can convince Damani Jackson to come back and say, hey, man, this is your first full season of football since your sophomore year of high school. Your junior year, you got hurt. Your senior year was the pandemic. Your freshman year at OSU or at USC, you redshirted. And your redshirt freshman year, you were a little bit banged up. You didn't get to play a full year. He played a full year this year and was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Right.
One of the biggest compliments you can give a cornerback is at the end of the game saying, wait, I didn't see him. Where was he? He started the whole game?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
well, Why didn't I see him? Because they didn't look his way.
That's right.
Teams avoided Damani.
Right.
And I always say against Western Kentucky, a snap that made me laugh is whenever the receiver, the play before Damani jams this cat out.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, jams him out of bounds.
Yeah.
The second play, the receiver did something nifty, slaps away the hand, goes, right? Beat Damani off the line. But Damani's so damn fast and athletic, he's like almost side scooting with this kid as he's in a full sprint, and Damani's just scooting next to him. And I laughed so hard because I was like, guys, you know how demoralized I'd be if I was a wide receiver and I'm in a full sprint and the cornerback is keeping up with me, shoulders to me, just kind of side scooting.
Right.
That's what happens when you run a 10-2, 100-meter dash.
Yep.
Right? Why would I spend my money elsewhere when I can pay LT Damani and then go get a Cam Calhoun? And it's like, okay, I didn't go get 8 guys. I kept 2 guys. I got another one. We supplemented. I love that, Coach Al.
And you're keeping Keon Saab. You're keeping Keon Saab. You're bringing Devontae back. You're bringing Justin Jefferson back. You know, all those guys could have were league eligible, but you're going to bring
Devontae
back.
left.
Devontae gone.
No, Devontae Lawson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Talking about Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae.
Yeah, he's coming back. But I'm saying these guys have played a ton of snaps at the SEC level, but they all gonna get drafted. Saab's gonna get drafted. Lawson's gonna get drafted. Damani's gonna get drafted. LT's gonna get drafted. Can you imagine that value they're gonna create for themselves next year in that defense? Can you imagine how attractive it's going to be as a linebacker to play in front of our defensive line this year with Jeremiah Beeman, who I'm so hyped about? You know, I mean,
Jordan Renaud.
You want to talk
about someone that flashed.
Man, that defense.
Y'all forgetting about James Smith. James Smith is a monster.
Man, James Smith, Jeremiah, the young dude, the young guns we got coming in, because we know James Smith gonna be a dog. But Jeremiah Beeman, did you see him flash at the end of the year when he got healthy? When he finally got healthy, the guy's twitchy. He reminds me of what's the guy that went to the Patriots that played for us?
Armour.
Yes, that's who he reminds me of. That's who he puts me in the mindset, frame, twitch, this strong body type, and yeah, that guy. Yeah, him.
Yeah, see, that was I was gonna say, Coach Al, honestly. I was gonna say the problem we had most of this year that our defensive line didn't have any chemistry. But I thought for the whole time, man, that Freddie Roach wasn't playing the right guys in the right situation. I think it came down to that. A lot of times we get these talented kids, man, and they put them on the bench. They keep them on the bench until their junior year. But sometimes they transfer out.
They do.
You get a 5-star kid, and then the kid is fast, twitchy, kind of like Quentin Williams. Yeah. Don't hold them back, man. Just turn them loose. Turn these kids loose. You start turning these kids loose early, they start getting confidence. They start getting a rep. By the end of the season, you have dogs on the line that you can rotate in and rotate out. That's the one thing I loved about Michigan. When Michigan 2 studs came out, they had 3 or 4 more studs coming in behind them. Right. They never lost any different type of play progression, man. Like it was never a drop off from Michigan.
That's right.
It's like the young guys were getting better than the starters.
That's right.
So they kept playing them and kept playing them and kept playing them. As the year went on, it got better.
Right.
We got all these studs at Alabama. And for the last, 4 or 5 years, I mean, we have all this talent on D-line that never gets a chance to showcase their talent. And I've been saying that. I've been advocate for that for the longest. That's what I like about Dabo. Dabo recruit you. He trusts in, he believe in you. He put you on the field. He ain't going out there in the portal getting nobody's bag up to come in and take your spot. He gonna roll with the punches. That's now, right. Maybe he should do it on offense, but on defense, he hadn't been taking in the players out of defensive portal. I mean, he took one this year.
He did.
With Jeremiah Alexander.
Right.
Because he wanted to make Alexander back up with his buddy. He wanted to match it with his buddy. But other than that, he don't bring kids out of the portal and put them on his defense because he trusts the guy that he have on defense. Saban had some of the most dominant defensive players in our era, but they was coming in and they was riding the bench, and there was some of them stuck it in and waited their time and got drafted higher. Some of them came in, didn't get a chance to play, and they was out there the year two. You bring them in, you gotta trust who you recruit. When you find out that they can't play, and then you cut them, or you tell them jump the portal. But don't keep going in the portal, man, paying somebody $4 or $5 million to come to your roster, and then you got kids on your roster that been here 3 years that you hadn't engaged $200,000 yet. Get the kid we got on our roster the money. That's why I like what you said. We investing in the kids that's on our campus.
Right.
We're not going out in the portal getting nobody $4 or $5 million, and we don't even know how they're gonna fit Alabama. I understand how you fit in Ole Miss. I understand how you fit over here down Clemson, but how would you fit at Alabama? These are two different worlds. Alabama is the king of the mountain.
Right.
Everybody else is underneath it. So in order to come here, or you come here, we expecting you to come here and automatically trip. We're gonna give you that type of money. We want Jamie Wings. Now we got J-Mo. J-Mo came in, J-Mo proved that he belonged. We ain't had no problem with J-Mo. J-Mo turned out to be the shit. Hey, Landon Dickinson came in too, right?
Right.
He proved that he belonged. Like most of the kids that we brought in came in, they ended up turning out to be pretty damn good. We did bring in one from Georgia that was a shit. Screwed my French people. I'm sorry about that time. But Treasure Marshall wasn't it. I know he made a few plays, but to me, he wasn't it. I got tired of seeing him playing like Henry Tour, running in the wrong damn holes.
Jameer Gibbs was a good pickup.
And I mean, yeah, Jameer Gibbs, that was a huge pickup. Like that, I was thinking that guy from Georgia Tech was going to jump the portal this year, and that would have been a good pick for somebody to get up. I think he's going to stay. Yeah. But yeah, man, most of the kids that we brought in from the portal was a hit.
Jake Coker,
and we paid him decent money. Yeah, he was a good hit, but he was mobile. So, he was a hit.
He came with national.
Yeah, he was a hit. He won us a national championship. You know what I mean? I got that. What I'm saying that most of the guy we picked up out of Porter was a nice guy we picked up. We have picked up some that did not fit. So, but those guys that say I don't know what the deal was that Saban was giving them, but some of the guys that came in did not fit our scheme. They didn't fit the team. It really wasn't good for us, man.
Coach Carl, you know what get me, man, is this. You know, you look at what happened with some of the DBs Saban took his latter years. He took the guy from UAB, right? He took the guy from Louisiana. And both of those guys came in. One guy started as safety. The other guy came in and backed up at cornerback and played a ton of snaps. And I'll say he transfers. Yeah, Trey goes to Ole Miss. Trey's legitimate cornerback. Okay.
Trey's legit.
Yeah. Trey's legit.
Yeah, Trey. We all hated that Trey Amos left. But he didn't want to play for nobody but Coach Saban.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm not mad at any of those. Like I am, like that sucks, but I get it. That's the GOAT. As much as I love Bama, that's the GOAT. So when he retires, I can't necessarily be like, I'm super upset. Now, Tide's saying Zay Mincy better. I'll tell you what, Sab's going to be back there with Bray Hubbard, but watch, Zay Mincy's going to probably push.
He's going to push for their
star spot. For one of those.
Maybe
their star.
He may go to Husky.
I think Zay Mincy's going to be pushing for their star spot, man, at their free.
Which is the Husky? Which is the Husky position? Yeah.
In this defense, it's Husky.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, the guy that intrigues me is Keon Keeley. He sticks around. And I think what they did, they put Jamar Million Latham over to Wolf this year just so Keeley can move up the depth chart. That's a subtle move that you got to watch in the spring because Keon Keeley did not get into the portal. Keon Keeley is still advanced.
And you heard Womack say something to the effect of later on in the season, he was a guy that was really starting to get it. But gentlemen, we also need to understand switching positions and then being asked to, hey, we need you to increase your body weight, your body mass while you learn a new position. That's not easy. right? That's just not easy. That's like we're talking about guys who are going up against some of the most athletic dudes in the world, these offensive tackles.
Yeah.
I know when we think about athleticism, typically you're thinking of the safeties, the running backs, the receivers, the court. You try being 340 pounds and dancing like a cat. That's what the best offensive linemen are, right? They're 300 pounds plus, great footwork,
Yeah.
great balance,
Yeah.
great
Great punch.
athleticism.
Great punch.
Now you try being a kid who's already growing, developing, who's then asked gain weight and move positions. That's difficult. There's a reason why I think LT is primed to go from close to exploding next year because
Yes,
he
sir.
was asked to do the same thing. He
Mhm.
was asked to do the same thing.
Yeah.
He was able to do it. But Keeley is a guy that this staff has to be very excited about
Man, I am.
for them to do that with.
Yeah.
Right?
I
They
know I
have to
am.
be very excited. Now, guys, Nick Harden saying, I just found this channel, and I know a couple people in the chat, but I subscribed and we'll be watching. Appreciate that, Nick. Yeah,
Appreciate you, man.
we're just
Good
obsessed
job, Nick.
college
Appreciate
football
you, Nick.
fans and
Appreciate you, man.
obviously Bama fans. So we get
Yeah.
up here and we talk recruiting, post game, pre game. I mean, we talk all football.
We
And
go
that's just the
football, man. Yeah, we go
Yeah.
in and everybody on this channel. One thing, Nick, you're gonna find about Ty's channel, you know, we all kind of feed off each other. We all come from different walks and different backgrounds. What you're gonna find is that you're gonna find real men on this channel, guys who respect each other, respect you guys because you guys make the channel. You guys come in and we can't do this without you guys. You know what I mean? So we're here for you. You know, you ask any questions, you know, we're gonna chop it up and give you our best cut at it. You know, that's it's authentic, man. It's real. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, facts, man. Like, what you see, you got Ty Hayes right there, right? He's the judge, and we are the defense attorneys and the prosecutors on his channel. So when we come up here, he
Ebony,
gives his soliloquy, and then we give ours. But at the end of the day, Ty is the judge. He's the only one that's preparing for law school right now, anyway. So and he actually works inside a law firm. So Ty has the gavel. And he's saying ting ting.
Boy, speaking, don't even bring up work because we have
And
some wild shit
Hey,
going
and he
on.
the smart, and he the smarter one. So when you in the room full of people, when you in the room full of smart people, though, it's always a blessing. So welcome to a channel with that sit behind. Welcome to the channel, Nick, man. You ride with a smart guy. Ebony, how you doing, my sister?
Ebony, hope you're doing well. In truth, I got like 7 in the studio. I got behind me in the studio is like 7 different gavels. I got big gavels. I got small gavels. What do you want? What do you want?
Go ahead and hit
have a
one.
vote
Go
as
ahead
to
and
which
hit.
gavel I use. But I did want to close this out, guys, by kind of why aren't you using them? How about this? We'll break it out Monday evening before the Natty. How about that? We'll break out the gavel. Because we're going to give an all too early prediction now, but we're going to go deeper in depth on this Monday before the game. Coach Carl, Ohio State or Notre Dame? Who you got?
Man, honestly, I know Ohio State gonna win that game, but I'm hoping that Notre Dame can put it out. I mean, it's personal
I love
for
Marcus
me.
Freeman.
It's personal to me because Freeman is a brother, and then the game is played on Dr. Martin Luther King birthday celebration. So I would love to see the brother winning on MLK Day. But I'm a realist, man, and I know that Notre Dame don't have the foot speed that Ohio State has. So in that defense, the Ohio State, man, as fast as they fly around the football, Notre Dame really can't go deep downfield. I'm with Ohio State, but I just hope that Freeman could put it out some type of way, which I really just don't think that he can do it. But hey, man, it's a hope.
Coach out.
Buckeyes. I just like the matchups. The matchups. Notre Dame just don't win the matchups for me. And in games like this, where you this far in the season, there's so much tape on you. You know, now it comes down to those key plays and those key people that can win matchups, can win those one-on-ones. I think Ohio State has more of those kind of dudes on both sides of the ball than Notre Dame. As far as the coaching equivalency, I think it's a wash. You know, the guy's been there at Notre Dame 3 years. He's done a phenomenal job. But I just think that Ohio State, with their D-line coach, their defensive coordinator, the wide receiver coach, they got Chip in the box now. It's going to be
Knowles is a great DC.
Yeah, man. It's just going to be an uphill climb for Notre Dame to take those guys, especially if Ohio State doesn't turn the ball over. Okay.
Yeah,
if they don't
you
turn
heard
the ball
what
over.
said, right?
With 59% of Notre Dame played 59% of man. I think that's what Brinsky said, right?
That worries me. Worries me. Notre Dame is man.
Yeah. You
That
can't do it
worries
against
me.
Ohio State. Yeah, they win the matchups. They win the game.
Well, this is my thing, guys. I agree with you, but when I say this, I don't want anybody thinking, oh, so you really like Freeman? Do you not like Ryan Day? I like Ryan Day. I got nothing against Ryan Day. I got nothing against him. I hope he succeeds. I wish success on everybody, except Auburn. I really like Marcus Freeman, though. Like, I don't know how you can listen to Marcus Freeman talk post-game, pre-game, and not be like, hell yeah, I root for that guy. I just don't know how you could. And here's the crazy thing. Didn't he play for Ohio State?
He did.
Back in his
Play
day?
linebacker.
Ooh, wait. Right? You want to talk about the Ohio State fans being ticked if they lose to a guy who was from there that went to Notre Dame. Notre Dame typically, right? You just had Brian Kelly be like, hey, I want to recruit where I can win. Now, all of a sudden, his heir apparent is in the national championship with Notre Dame. And Brian Kelly hasn't done terrible at LSU. I'm not going to sit up here and say that, but he's not in the Natty. He's not in the Natty. He was years ago at Notre Dame. It's Freeman in the Natty. I think Ohio State is going to win. Lynn, happy you're here, man. Hope you've been good. Hope you had a great New Year, great Christmas. Just a great
Lynn's
time.
in the house.
Oh, yeah, Lynn's in the house.
Yep.
What's up, Lynn? There he is. What's up, Lynn?
You're right about that time, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is a great dude. Great.
I want Notre Dame.
Ty, let me take you back a little bit about the Notre Dame thing with me. Goes way back because I'm the OG, right? And it just seemed like Ara Parseghian had the Bears number. And from back then, I just had a disdain for Notre Dame.
But
I want them to lose every game.
Listen, I think a lot of the national fan base doesn't like Notre Dame. But I think that Marcus Freeman is winning people over just because he is so damn likable and authentic that you have people who are like, oh, I've never really liked Notre Dame, being like, damn it. I can't hate on Notre Dame when he's in charge. Like, what am I going to say? The guy is just so damn likable, such a good coach, has done such a great job there. I want them to win. Now, Anthony, to your comment, what worries me is that Notre Dame, you are who you are at this point in the season. Yeah, you might try a new wrinkle here and there in the Natty, right? Because what do you have to lose? You throw everything against the wall in this game. What worries me is what they do with Jeremiah Smith. And here's what I mean. Because either you pool a lot of resources to him, and then you still have guys like Emeka Egbuka, you still have Carnell Tate, you still have so much talent there. And then you got two running backs right now that are playing as good a football as anybody in the nation, right? And Travion Henderson. Shout out to the Virginia kid from Hopewell, Virginia. Shout out to that. But then you have Judkins.
Yeah.
Right? You have Judge, like, this is a tough team to go up against.
Yeah.
And then offensively, I love what Notre Dame has in the running game. I think they're going to be able to have some success there. But you have Ohio State is one of those teams where you have to keep them honest. Now, that being said, when we look at what Michigan was able to do to Ohio State, Notre Dame might be able to try and emulate some of those same things on the offensive side of the ball, right? Really hard-nosed football. Notre Dame's offensive line this year did not take the step back I thought they would. I was 100% wrong there. Whenever the season's over and you get my where I was right, where I was wrong live stream, that's going to be number one, where I was wrong. Notre Dame's offensive line. They had to replace so much coming into the season. I just did not think they would be as strong as they were, and I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. And I'll own it. Listen, y'all ever seen Waterboy?
Oh yeah.
You remember when that ugly dude is standing outside the hospital and he's like, I was not blessed with good looks, smarts, a cunning attitude, charm. Yeah. And then he finishes up with, I am not a proud man. That's me. I do not care if I admit that I'm wrong, because you're never going to learn unless you admit you're wrong, and you're never going to learn unless you admit what you don't know.
That's right.
I was wrong about that Notre Dame offensive line. Dead wrong. I think they can give Ohio State fits, but through 4 quarters, are you going to be able to keep Ohio State honest? I just don't know. Knowles is a good play caller, man. And to your point, Coach Al, you got Chip Kelly on the offensive side. You got Jim Knowles on the defensive side.
Right.
Damn.
That's tough.
Damn.
Yeah. And Hartline, a receiver coach, who's an offensive guy. He knows how to scheme receivers, so he's in Chip's ear. You know, they bracketed Jeremiah. You know, we got to free somebody else up. You're gonna see a lot of crossing routes, a lot to keep Will Howard out of the interceptions, so that they can keep favorable field positions. You're gonna see a lot of short game stuff because I think Notre Dame, they're gonna take Jeremiah away, just like last game with Texas did. They took him away. Texas had the guys to take him away, and they did effectively. That's what kept them in the game, because they didn't get those big chunk plays. But I think now you're going to see Chip adjust to that, because Notre Dame had the guys at the back end that could do that. They play 59% man. Okay, so they don't do that, but that's just who they are. A team not going to change who they are this late in the game. Okay, so I think Chip's going to notice that. And if you're a man, you're going to have a lot of man beaters that are short, so the quarterback can get the ball out of his hand, make high percentage throws, keep the chain moving, and not turn the ball over. In a game like this, turnovers are magnified there's so much pressure. Okay, so you really want to win a turnover battle in a game like this. You really want to get out the gate fast. You want to make sure that you're getting the ball to your playmakers, the guys that's going to win the matchups on both sides of the ball. So that's why I think that Ohio State has an advantage.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think we're going to get a very good game.
Yeah.
I want Notre Dame to win, but guys, I just have a feeling that Ohio State. Now, we're going to dive more into this on Monday, when hopefully we can get Brinsky on here. Brinsky, I see you. I'm calling you out by your name right now.
Brinsky in the chat saying FM Treaty.
Yeah, your presence is missed on this channel. Your presence is missed on this channel. Hopefully, Coach Sean will be free on Monday, right? Yeah. But if he's got a basketball game to go to, then absolutely go to the basketball game. Go to that. Moon Rocka, been way too long, my guy. Happy to see you. I love an underdog story too as well, but damn it, I just think Ohio State's going to do it. Want Notre Dame to do it, but we'll unpack that more on Monday. Guys, as always, as we close this down, we go around the table, let everybody know where they can find all your great content. Coach Al, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, just catch me on Instagram, al.sanders.10 or X at alsand79. I'm not a content creator. These guys are so gracious enough to let me hang out with them and talk football, you know, and I'll oblige. I'm easy to find, man. Appreciate your support.
Coach Carl.
Hey, man, it's me and Coach Carl on the Block Sport Talk. You can find me on YouTube on the Block Sports Talk with Coach Carl. or you can find me on X, man. It's Coach KD Taylor on X. Appreciate you inviting me, Ty, man. I love hanging out with y'all. Coach Al, man. Even though you're not a YouTuber, you're still a YouTuber. So, because you're always around with us, man. So,
He's
even
a-
though you
Hang out
don't
with
have
you
a
guys,
channel,
man.
you're part of
Hey,
our
he's-
channel.
He's an analyst on Around the Table Sports. He's a YouTuber.
I'm telling you.
Appreciate
I'm
you.
telling you. And
Much love.
he's a great one at that. So, all
Thank
that
you,
knowledge
man.
that you have, Coach Al, man, we appreciate you even hanging out with us, man, because you could be doing
Absolutely.
anything else. But you still hanging out with us, man. So, man, we appreciate that, man. Brinsky, get your butt in this damn screen, man. I know you had fun last night, but better get your butt on this damn screen, man, before I have to come over there and visit you outside of your home.
Anthony saying Notre Dame has a great linebacking group. He says the best linebacking group in the nation. I think they can shut down the running game and the tight end for Ohio State. Their superpower is not being out of position. They are well coached. That is not a question.
Facts.
That is not a question. That's a great point,
solid.
Anthony.
Solid.
We are
Anthony,
going to dive into that much more on Monday.
Ty, they are Notre Dame is well coached, man, but with Ohio State, man, they have so many pieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
many pieces.
We're going to dive into that more.
Team not that fast. I don't think Notre Dame can be a stop all those mixed pieces. So
we will see, and I'll tell y'all what. Moon Rocket and Chad. Yeah, I do the final whistle every Tuesday night on the Bama Standard. So yeah, I'm still over there. I'm still anywhere where they give me a microphone. And guys, I have an uncanny ability. I time these shows to the cigar. Look at this.
I see it. I was noticing that.
2 streams in a row. We have tied the stream to the cigar, but I need to go eat dinner. I got to be up bright early with a bushy tail to go to the firm in the morning to have a consultation. So rip me. But we now need to hear from the 4th member of the panel. Guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you being here. Both of you gentlemen, you know how much you both mean to me. We talk all the time. Guys, what y'all don't know, we do this stream together. We have a group chat where we're texting each other all day, every day. Like,
True.
This is just a group of friends, and that's what we love to do on this channel, is just talk football as friends. We're all just college football fans. That's it. The only thing that separates us from you guys in chat is we just decided to rant into a camera. But that's why anybody who wants to come onto the channel, I say, hey, you have an open invite. Come hang out, talk football, because that's all this is. And I certainly appreciate all of you for watching. 2 most valuable things you have in life is time and your health, and you're giving us your time. But now I need to give time to the 4th member, the spinning wheel of doom. And it spins.